Hi, everyone, and welcome to another 4D Method 4D user group. Today is November 5th, 2025. This is the last meeting of this year, so hooray. And it's meeting number 82. Um, Right, as usual, this is getting routine after 82 of these. We'll talk a little bit about 4D Method and what the user group is, talk about some of the upcoming user group presentations and why you should also do one. We'll get a little bit of news from Kirk Brooks about the 4D Happy Hour and what's been discussed in recent weeks there. Then we'll also get some news directly from 4D from Jim Sobczak. I'll review a couple of recent 4D blog articles that I found interesting. There's always a whole bunch of great content coming out there, and it's been very busy with 4D21 just coming out around the corner. Then we'll get a review of a recent tech note that came out in the 4D knowledge base from at 4D. And then we'll have our special topic. That's why we're all here. This is a great topic, and I think it's going to be some very exciting content. 4D, the 4D AI platform. The future is now. We have Ricardo Mello and Mathieu Ferry here with us to present. Right. My name is Brent Raymond. I organize these events and try to have it organized on 4dmethod.com as well. I can be reached at 4dmethod@gmail.com. I'm a career 4D developer. I've done work in a lot of different industries and applications. I work full time at the Art Institute of Chicago, along with Greg Loya. Hi, Greg. And yeah, it's just I find it very interesting to see what other people are doing with 4D. If nothing else, I get a front row seat on all of the great content that gets demoed in these meetings. But the reason why I started this so long ago and continue to do these meetings is just to bring together the community, share programming techniques and new features in 4D. And just I love seeing where 4D applications are deployed in the world, what they're doing. Oftentimes it's just right around the corner. And you just might not have known that, or you might want to show off how you're deploying it right around everybody's corner. So it's also a great place to find 4D development support and to offer your 4D development support in these user group meetings. It's a great way to showcase your skills and just to see what can be done with 4D and get some ideas. Right. This is your group. I just want to emphasize that each time. This is a stage for you to step up to and show off some of the things that you've been working on, or where life has led you to do development that's significant in one area or another. We've got Milan Adamov here in January, first meeting of next year on the 14th to as somewhat of a part two, but in the end, it's such a load of content that he's going to show. It's hard to say it's a part two from his last session last year on master action building with GitHub. This is taking it one step forward and doing advanced application signing again with actions and full automation. And then in March 4th, we'll see a session called B Web. I suppose that's how it's called. The low code 4D component for the web from Jean-Michel Birahi. Yeah, so it's both of those should be really interesting, and as well as we've got a couple of open dates where if you have something that you've just been sitting on, You'll have plenty of time to put a polish on it for April 22nd and June 10th of next year. And if those dates don't work for you, we're always flexible to move it around here and there just to make sure it works for everybody's schedule as much as possible, anyways. And if you're not one for dragging yourself through live events like this, bumps and bruises and mistakes and misstatements, you're also welcome just to record a short demo, and I'm happy to highlight it on the user group website. In any case, the schedule is always available at 4dmethod.com at the schedule link. Link is in the slide here. And as always, these slides are linked to in the post on 4dmethod.com. Right. So that's about all from the introduction of 4D Method, and I just always like to hand it off to Kirk Brooks, who hosts a weekly 4D get together called the 4D Happy Hour. And I invite Kirk here each one of these meetings just to talk a little bit about what's been going on with those happy hour get-togethers. So, hey, Kirk.
Well, thank you, Brent. And, thanks for this opportunity to say hello to everybody and just remind you that 4D Happy Hour is still going well after, almost 6 years, well, 5.5 years now of weekly meetings. And we're, as the slide says, we're there Friday afternoons, 2:30 Pacific time, whether it's PDT or PST, it's always 14:30 Pacific, and the link will always be found at 4dhappyhour.com. There'd been some confusion about that in the last month or so because I basically broke the old one because I was cleaning up one afternoon, and you know how that goes. Anyway, the correct one will always be at the website. And having said that, what do we do at 4D Happy Hour? I know a lot of you have been there and do come there regularly, but just to talk about what we've been doing recently, we've been doing having actually a lot of really good conversations about stuff going on in 4D, a lot of discussions about AI. And in fact, this week is this from here to the end of the week, it's all AI all the way down. I just finished a project that I wrote for the first time in probably 90%, 80% of the code being written by the AI. And so Friday at Happy Hour, if you want to come by, I'll be talking about that, and I'll be showing some of the process that I used. Really great. I'm just curious to see what Matthew and Ricardo have to show and how much we overlap, and because I know that's exactly what they're going to be showing today. So if you want to come after this, if you want to play with it, then come. Do what we do at Happy Hour, which is take time and engage in all the bumps and bruises and mistakes and stuff, but also just like share screens and try stuff and actually get right down into the code and get quite nerdy. Other things that we do also is recently we've been engaging in problem solving, or at the very least, problem commiserating. When we're frequently though, it's a great place to come when you've just got some question about something and want to get some ideas on it that perhaps somebody has got experience with something that you're struggling with and can just throw a couple of ideas out and they work. And if nothing else, it's an opportunity to hear somebody else's perspective on it, and frequently that'll lead you to a good solution. It's casual, it's drop in, drop out, and really folks of all level are welcome. It's I think we're a good group and a welcoming group, and if you haven't been, then I hope you'll give us a try. And if you haven't been for a while, then I encourage you to stop back in. And with that, Brent, I'll kick it back over to you.
All right. Thanks, Kirk. Whoop. That apparently just just clicked the wrong place in my in my slide. Well, anyways, there is the website.
Well,
And
that's actually a different one.
okay.
40happyhour.com is
All
where we
right.
want to go. I threw it into the chat also.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks anyways. Yep. So, 40 Happy Hour is excellent place to just to see coding happening live, solving, troubleshooting live and commiserating with other 40 developers out there in the wild. So, yep, I'll hand it over now to Jim Sobczak at 4D to talk to us a little bit about some of the news coming out of 4D, the company.
Great. Thank you, Brent.
Yep.
Greetings from 4D in California, where we're finally getting some rain in the Bay Area. It's kind of nice to wake up and hear the pitter patter. We haven't had that in a long time. Thanks, Brent, for inviting Ricardo, Mathieu, and me to participate in this month's meeting. We really appreciate the opportunity. It's great for us to touch base with the worldwide 4D community and see what other people are up to. We're all really looking forward to Ricardo and Matthew's presentation on 4D AI platform, The Future is Now. And I think the title says it all, as the future of AI certainly is now. And as usual, 4D is right there in the mix, and you're about to see how. So, and special thanks to Matthew for being with us today, as he will also be presenting a training tomorrow on AI with 4021 and AI Kit. So he's a busy fellow these days. Please be sure to register for that if you want to attend tomorrow's meeting as well, or want to receive the recording afterwards. Different agenda for sure. I've got several emails this week. Which one do I go to? Well, you go to both. You go to both. And if you can't go to both, then you watch the recording afterwards. So a lot of interest in the topic, obviously. So, yeah, a few things going on at 4D here. We're really busy this time of the year, as always, the last November and December. Of course, this year, even more so with the release of 4021 beta last month and the upcoming release of 4021 in January. Once again, a couple marketing and business things I'd like to announce. Once again, we're offering an end of year promotion. We do this every year for new 40 licenses. This year is even better. We got an extra special one for partners between now and the end of the year, 12/31/25. You can purchase new licenses for 4D, get your partner discount, an additional 10%, and free maintenance. So we've never had anything like that before. So that's a lot of quality and value purchasing licenses by the end of the year, even if you don't need them right now. If you're thinking like the beginning of next year or when 4021 comes out, you'll have those licenses ready. So think about that. Contact your account representative here at 4D, and we can send out a price quote for you right away. We're also starting the process of partner renewals this month. So be sure to renew your partnership on time so you'll have access to 4021 beta and the actual release in early 2026. And for those of you who have more than one developer in your company, we're also offering a huge discount on extra partner expansions. So as part of your partner program, if you want another developer to be on your partnership, we have a huge discount that we're offering there until the end of the year as well. So on the technical side, many new things to discuss that are in the 4D blog. Brent does a great job of reviewing that, so I'm not going to step on his toes there. And Ad will be reviewing the knowledge base articles that are on there now or coming up. So those guys do a great job on that. And since this is our last meeting of the year, and we're not going to meet until January of next year, I wanted to wish you all a happy and safe holiday season. Hopefully, we'll be hearing from you before the end of the year for whatever reasons, but it's great to see you all today. I think that's all for me, Brent. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Mm.
Yep. This ought to be a good grand finale for the year, and certainly will be some interesting content. But yeah, so as Jim mentioned, as we've seen in the blog and otherwise, the 4021 beta was released since our last meeting. There's quite a rundown of great features and changes. This list in particular is just really what's new since 20R10. If we were to try to put every change since 20 LTS to 21, I think we'd need a full hour and many slides. But in this case, right, much deeper AI integration and further features with AI Kit. We have the network switching, which uses the new Quick layer. I did make note that that in the blog article they do say that Quick is now the recommended network layer as opposed to server net and certainly anything if you're still on the classic network layer. Yeah, so that's moving along quite quickly, and that's a big change. Then, right, new features for Orda, what they're calling entity lifecycle events, effectively validating a save, kind of like triggers, saving after save, validating a drop, record deletion, dropping, and after drop, just all kinds of catching events, all anything you can imagine that could happen with a an entity. Yep, and then onward with Codely, embedding Codely in 4D forms. This is going to be a big deal in the next year and coming 4D versions. I think we'll see more and more how interfaces will start, client interfaces or 4D remote interfaces will start adopting these Codely style forms, which are what's the right word? Immediately usable and transparent to use on the web, I think is the right way to say. And it's a really interesting way to evolve your larger applications that you've been developing for years to into slowly but surely into web applications or web and applications. Right, and then we've got Codely Pro built-in internationalization. I know that that's a huge deal across the world. You know, people use 4D in many different languages, and anything that makes that easier is very important. Right, and then we've got the ability to edit components directly from the host. As someone who uses components very heavily, thank you. That's that's a big one. If you don't use components, it's awfully handy, and it's quite easy to put a bunch of functionality off into a separate code base that you can manage separately from the host and reuse with different projects and whatnot. And it's just always a little bit easier to edit it, say in the host instead of having to open up a second application to make some tweaks and then come back into the host. So yeah, that's a good one. And we've got custom HTTP response rules. Also awesome. If you are hosting anything web-like, then you're probably doing some of this functionality in code. Well, a better place to do it is as far upstream as you can, and that's effectively defining, if nothing else, defining what acceptable traffic is, what the traffic, how the traffic should be routed, and what's allowed to hit your web server at the very highest level in the 4D web server. All of that has been re-engineered, and we now have the ability to just have that defined in an external document and have no code that in the end really needs to handle those say garbage traffic or any yeah, there's a lot else you can do in there, but in short, that's a very powerful new document and new feature with 4D 21. And then there's advances in session management, which is important when you say are going from Codely on the web to Codely on a 4D form, and sharing the same session between a 4D remote application and a web session, and so on. So just a whole lot additionally available now with 21. Again, that's just since R10. So lots to see there. And a lot of these are described individually in 4D blog articles. And in this case, I'm just since most of what I just talked about does have already dedicated 4D blog articles and how do I databases and applications and whatnot. I just like to list a few things additionally in here that I found interesting in 4D blog. Right. If nothing else, I haven't mentioned that in 4D21 and AI Kit, there's an article that, well, it's called Redefining How Applications Think and Act, which is a bit of an overview of a title, but specifically it talks about the enabling AI kit to use methods that you define in your application. So it's kind of like having callbacks that AI can use in its own calculations, or whatever you're asking it to do, or giving it certain predefined measurements and results for whatever, however you're using the AI. That's very interesting. Good article to review, good documentation to review. And I don't know, we might see some of that today or tomorrow. If not, it's available on the blog. Then there's another AI related article, semantic search, querying by vector similarity. That's going to become very important moving into 21. Yeah, it's not just about the ability to assign a vector and calculate a vector similarity. Well, they're moving towards, as predicted, the ability to query on those fields, vector fields, I suppose it's a vector class field in your database, so that these pre-calculated vectors for data that you have stored in a table, when you want to query on that, it calculates a vector for the query, what you're querying with, and then you can search using the similarities. Now they're not indexed yet, but they will be, and then it'll be super quick and powerful. But that's a big deal. Then we've also got an article on the structured outputs. That's another big thing. Sometimes when you are asking AI for a result to your to a question that you're working on. That's again a terrible generalization, but you want it to give you an output that looks like so. And in this case, you can actually have that as a parameter to the AI, the call to AI kit. You can say that the JSON, the output should be a JSON that has this structure so that it is usable by this application. It's just kind of makes it, it does that work for you, which you would otherwise have to do in wrangling with the prompts and trying to make sure it doesn't do something like give you XML, something gross like that. But yeah, so that's another great feature. Another good one, trim with strings. Well, we've all kind of written our own, but now it's native and it's going to be preemptive and fast, and you won't have to. you can replace all of your old trim code with the new trim code. So that's a nice thing to have. And finally, I thought this one was pretty cool. Modernize your 4D interfaces with Fluent UI. Now, this is only on Windows. It's the UI label, the name, the brand, I suppose, however you want to call it, for apps in Windows. So what you're able to do, and I'm sure under the hood it's effectively CSS of sorts, but to set your database or even just set a specific form to use the Fluent UI style. And then you look like a native app, which is pretty darn cool. I'm sure that would have been neat to have also. Maybe that's in store as well for say Mac apps and whatnot to so that you don't have to go through and freshen up your interface as the OSs change over time. If this works as it's built to, then the interface will automatically adapt to the OS changes and the inevitable style changes that we seem to be that are forced upon us all in every one of
Hey,
the OS changes.
hey, Brent,
So
Brent, I got a question.
sure.
What, right, 4D now uses like native controls, so like drop-down menus on Mac OS.
Right.
When different versions of Mac OS, come out, the drop-down menus will look a little different. They'll match the style of the system, and it still does that on Windows also. The
Right.
drop-down menus, list boxes, those kind of things. How is Fluent UI different than what 4D is doing now? It's already adapting the system's look for like, widget.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good question. You're right. There are already native differences in the form objects between OSs. I think this also takes into account the kind of window styles and we do have a few people here from 4D if they want to step in and correct me.
It-
Um,
yeah, I can maybe give a little bit more details about that. It's
mhm.
it's not only a visual difference. Fluent UI is if you type that in Google, it's somehow the way Microsoft um, names its design system. Let's say it like that. And then Fluent UI is implemented in a lot of different technologies. Can be web, can be for mobile or desktop, and so on. And we've implemented a very low level library from Microsoft, so called WinUI, that implements, in fact, this Fluent UI design. It's not only a matter of design, it's also a total upgrade of how your 4D app will run on a Windows desktop machine.
Does Fluent AI mean it'll support light and dark mode on Windows? Is that part?
Yeah. It will support. I don't remember exactly if it's already in or not yet. It's still a developer preview, but yeah, the point also is to support dark mode, which was
Okay.
not possible before, and but it's also a matter of keeping your 4D app up to date with Microsoft technologies, which maybe they could, let's say, abandon their former way of dealing with UI. So here it's a matter of keeping up to date. So you don't have to manage this low level upgrade. We did that for you, but still you have some work to do because the widgets, let's say, they are not exactly all the same dimensions and so on. So there are some adaptations to do for sure.
Now I know a burning question from all of us in the Mac world is how soon can we get a glass interface?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. And we're starting with that as well. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's joking a little bit because of how much people have yeah, had complained about that here and there. But I think it's a really neat change that it is as much as I've often at the museum and otherwise been tempted to go down the road even of just the light and dark modes of the application. Now, 4D has long since given us the ability to do that, but it does take quite a bit of, for a larger app anyways, investment to adapt to that. And but with something like Fluent UI and otherwise, if you get that out of the box as well as other features, making it your application more compatible with the OS and having that compatible track with the OS. That's a big payoff. So it's
Yeah.
nice to see. Thanks for the answer.
No, no, no problem. I can just add maybe a couple of things about Fluent UI. I think we are pretty advanced on adopting that. There's I mean, 4D is implementing that quite in advance compared to competition. And the second thing is that, for example, Fluent UI is declined, let's say, is exists also in React, which is the technology we adopted for Coldly. So probably in the near future, you will be able to have the same look and feel, or to adapt this look and feel also for Coldly applications,
Hmm.
which could be interesting when you know that now we allow to embed Kotlin forms into 4D forms. Can be interesting to have a similar UI.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Right. Okay. That's all for the 4D blog highlights.
Mhm.
And now I'm going to hand it over to Ad to talk a little bit about one of the recent tech notes that came out in on the knowledge base. Always, it's not just tech notes on the knowledge base, so to say. There's also some great tech tips, but we like to pick a tech note to highlight in each one of these meetings. Yeah, so off to you, Ad.
Thanks, Brett. So, hi, everybody. And I'm going to start with some big change in our knowledge base. Starting actually last month, I don't know if many of you have noticed it. All tech notes now are available for everybody, not just partners. Okay. So it means that you can go immediately from the link. Whether you log in or not, you'll be able to click and download tech notes content. So this is a great change from us, and we think is going to be a lot more beneficial for the community. We are trying to advocate new features and the way that the feature is supposed and meant to be used to everybody. And it's a huge learning aids, I think, for everybody. Every time when we come up with a techno topic, including the one that I'm going to highlight here, is always focusing on teaching and how to introduce something that you can apply into your own project efficiently and effectively. Okay, so hopefully we get more downloads on the tech notes from everybody from now on. So for this time around, we are highlighting a tech note from actually last month. We releasing one tech note per month now, and this tech note was inspired and have a little bit of a background history. In version 20 or 6, we released a feature called forced login. And I don't know if you guys remember several months ago when we started to introduce Codely as a way to um, interact with a 4D server, build a front end for 4D server. all connections and all sessions is immediately consuming one license. So this particular feature was introduced to address that specific issue because there are many ways for you to build your application. You may not need to access any of the data just yet. So to avoid unnecessary consumption of a license, this particular feature was implemented to avoid that type of um, a situation. So you can now freely build a Codely application in the way that you want, and then create a comment or a specific point where you want the user to access the data to force a login to happen. That's when 4D server will dedicate one license to that particular session. So it's quite useful now because of Codely uses REST communication. So it also applies to anything that deals with REST communication from outside of 4D as well, not just for Codely. So in this tech node, we are highlighting different scenario, and we go over multiple things that you might or may not be aware of in terms of using REST communication into 4D server. So yeah, have a look at it. It comes with an example application. And I'm talking to the author of the tech node, Abir, who's one of our technical staff in Morocco. I believe there might be some follow-up updates for this technology too, because as things go on in 4D technology, there's always some changes that we made and trying to enhance the ability to access 4D from outside of the application. And in this case, it's done through REST and Codely. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. And yeah, so looking forward to see a lot more downloads statistic in this upcoming days for sure. And that's it from me, Brett. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, this is, I encourage everybody to check out this article. It's there's a lot of content in it. I think it's like 35 pages. I mean, these tech notes are they're not just like the tech tips where it's, did you know you can click this? This is a very thorough article, and if you're doing anything with REST authentication or just interested in how authentication works whatsoever with REST or with Codely, this is a very in-depth article starting with, how it used to work, how it works now, things you can do, and again with the example application. So great stuff, always coming out in the knowledge base, and applause for making it immediately available. I think whatever can be done to share this content, share how, what can be done with 4D as soon as possible to leverage the great work that's coming out on the knowledge base in these tech notes, the better. Yeah, so good stuff. All right, thanks, Ed. Yeah, and here for the main feature today we have Mathieu Ferry joining us from France. Thanks for joining us with the time difference and whatnot. And Ricardo Mello joining us from Vancouver, Canada. Both of whom who have pivotal roles at 4D in driving the product forward and keeping 4D in step with the market and evolving technologies like AI. Both Mathieu and Ricardo each have already given very interesting demos to the user group. Just earlier this year, Mathieu presented on new integrations with Visual Studio Code for 4D developers, and Ricardo presented on 4D and AI. Sounds familiar? Bringing the power of LLMs, large language models, to your 4D applications. If you're watching this meeting as a recording, watching those earlier demos might prepare you a bit more for what they are about to show us. But if you're here now, please don't leave. So today they are here to show us what AI features are being delivered with 4D21 and discuss how you can deploy them in your applications. So welcome back to 4DMethod, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll go first, and then I'll pass the ball to our MMA level AI developer, It'll be a different level. So the meeting, so what I prepared then, because I have such a good developer with me, I prepared something different. Although I'm going to pledge right now that it's going to be as strong or not than our first presentation at the beginning at the mid of the year. So, and then after that, I think it's gonna blow your mind what Mathieu is gonna show as well. So if I can, I need to share my screen, right? Well, let's go. Someone else is sharing.
You should have it now.
I should be now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Desktop, share, allow Zoom. Oh, yeah. I have a new computer, sorry guys. Let me just allow Zoom to share. Okay. Zoom may not be able to record the content. Okay, later. That's okay. Why I'm not there. All right, share. Is it good?
Yep.
Okay, it messed up my whole screen, but why? Okay, allow. Why I did mess my screen, I don't know, but that's fine. Let's go. So 4D and the AI era. My presentation today is going to be craft 2 words. I'm going to present quite a bit of slides, and then Mathieu is going to bring the goodness in code. I want to make sure we understand that we're moving from relational to semantic. That's quite important. And also that we're going to step in a little bit of the ideas of a RAG and the agents. Don't focus too much on that. That's what the asterisk is there. The first one is the most important one. So my goal is to show to all of you that 4D is not just AI compatible. 4D is a rocket AI few exciting platform at this point. And I'm not taking that lightly. I'm going to go step by step of how I came to that conclusion. But first, let me talk about the moat. The moat is something that castles have, right? Everybody understands the concept of moat. And in this AI world, if everything is changing, software development is changing, everything is changing for the good and for the bad. Some people are afraid, some people are not. We have to start to build our moat, right? Around what we have. And that's what I'm going to exploit. First, the product. I typed this in ChatGPT Pro. Besides 4D, which platforms offer a secure, unified development environment with a native language, client-server and web support, RAD tooling for standalone and web apps, and fully embedded relational and vector database? The answer was long. The beginning of the answer was this. I don't know why it's not showing. Come on, let's go. It thought for 29 seconds. Short answer, effectively none match your full checklist end-to-end today. The closest you can get are the few near misses that check most boxes, but usually fall short on desktop RAD, or they're all first-party, fully embedded requirement. And then you describe a bunch of vendors that they were trying. And at the bottom said that, counting restricted peers, the number is 0, maybe 1. The closest alternatives are Oracle, 23AI Apex, SAP HANA Plus build, and look at that, FileMaker 2025. Well, but each misses at least one of your requirements, typically desktop RAD or truly embedded. Can I repeat that? Single vendor stack. If you need a one vendor end-to-end environment with own language and all that, 4D is effectively unique right now. This is ChatGPT telling me. That's not I am inventing this. This is ChatGPT telling me. So, but then you're going to come to me and say, oh, all right, Ricardo, just because you guys have a vector database now, you're so special. Yes. For everybody here, yes. Embedded in a stable and mature product with thousands of applications developed on it. Because it's about solving the single biggest challenge in deploying reliable enterprise AI, which is context and accuracy. Or in other words, a vector database is the foundation that makes your data searchable by meaning. And here I'm going to point out by meaning rather than exact matches. So yes, it is a big deal. It's a huge deal for you guys. 4D21, vector database, checked. Semantic search, checked. LLM integration, ready. Yeah, that's not really hard to get because you can have calls, but checked. Copilot, checked. MS secured, checked. Mature, checked. Web and API ready, checked. 4D21, it is a big deal. Market. I'm going to talk about why market right now for us is a big moat as well. It's protecting us. So, but then I went a little bit more sophisticated. I went to ChatGPT and said, please analyze the future consequence for software development and development teams related to AI, structured as a comparison between two organization models. First one, companies that utilize multiple technologies and large teams with numerous specialists, and companies that utilize integrated tools and smaller teams. Please extend the analysis to include a concluding section that positions 4D developers who typically work in small teams, 1 to 5 developers. The analysis must focus on these 5 topics: AI tool integration, code-based maintenance, which is quite important, team size and skill set, security and auditing, and efficiency and velocity. I gave to ChatGPT, that's not from me. It came back to this. The emergence of AI and generative code tools is fundamentally reshaping the economics and the structure of software development. Nobody has questions about that. It's obvious. We were all feeling, we were all seeing outside. But the choice between large multi-technology teams and small integrated teams determines whether AI becomes an amplifier of complexity, is giving you the answer, or a catalyst for agility. I'm going to repeat. Becomes an amplifier of complexity or a catalyst for agility. Of course, the answer is much more. He gave me a table that, as I described before, talking about the tool integration, code-based maintenance, team skills, security, and auditing. And he gave me all the comparison from large multi-technology specialized teams and all the comparison to small integrated platform teams. I'm not going to read all that, but you can tell. And if you write the same thing and you're going to have the presentation for you to do the same, that you're going to have the same conclusion from multiple AIs, which is, if you are part of a small integrated platform teams, you're going to be ahead. Many reasons. So I also asked a position from you for the developer. And he wrote me this. The shift to AI augmented development strongly favors the small integrated platform team model. The 4D developer, typically a small team of 1 or 5 full stack developers, because I wrote that, right? I gave that information to them, which is true. Utilize an integrated platform is positioned for maximum AI augmentation, not replacement. That's AI telling me that. Not replacement. These developers already possess the highly valued skills that AI cannot replace easily, which are domain expertise, system architecture, client communication, and end-to-end product ownership. So I'm betting that because your age, yes, your age, your experience, the choice you made with 4D, the ROI that you bring to your clients. Not a lot of companies have the ROI of 4D. 1 team, 1 tool. Few developers, 1 tool. massive systems built up in 4D that have very little cost. The 4D company history of innovation, now with all the AI being in, I am betting that we'll be part of a 4D renaissance as the rocket fuel exciting platform. My goal here is to excite you guys because we are in a very special position. My 3 practical suggestions for this renaissance. First, reclaim your client. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Second, de-interface. I'm going to explain that as well. And third one, rag your way. All right, so let's reclaim your client. What I mean about that is your proximity to your client is no longer optional. It is strategic. Gotta type that. Because your differentiators isn't just technology, but that you understand of the business rules of your clients and companies. You understand the clients and companies. You are the difference between a generic AI solution and one that is safe, compliant, and aligned with how your clients operate. I'm going to repeat that. That's so important for me. I really strongly believe that. One thing is use generic AI solution. All right. Another one for clients, for corporates, for enterprise is to use one that is safe, compliant, and aligned with what you need operationally. The client must know the closer you are, the developer, the 4D developer, the smarter and safer your AI integration becomes. You guys need to sell that idea to your clients. You need to start to knock your clients and say, hey, I have AI for you. Let's start talking about. And I know your business. Let's start talking about. It's a great opportunity for all developers here. Not only those clients, but then even further, because we're going to see that you're going to be way more productive, right? So Mathieu is going to touch that quite a bit. So again, avoid the generic AI solution. Sell to your clients that you are in position right now to help them on the AI future. The interface, that touched the first presentation that I did. And I believe quite a bit on that. And we are seeing the signs everywhere, which means the interface is changing, period. A prompt interface to your software isn't just a feature, it's a strategic shift. You have to think your interface as an AI ecosystem where data, logic, and language. I'm pointing here because data and logic you have, but language needs to coexist. Connect with AI models to interpret, reason, and act on data or context from your system. That's pretty straightforward. Perform actions through conversational input rather than fixed menus. And the most important for me, in essence, a prompt interface is not just text that you type. It is the gateway to making your software think, understand, and collaborate. I'm going to repeat again. In essence, a prompt is not just a text. It is the gateway to making your software think, understand, and collaborate. I'm almost done. Rag your way. Larger language models, they don't know your data. We saw that in the first presentation as well, but you guys are familiar with that now. A RAG. We start to hear that word, RAG. What's that? It's retrieval augmented generation. The only thing that you need to think about it is that, oh, I add my data to the LLM. Okay. It's just you were bringing your data to the equation, and that's why it's so powerful. So just so you understand, one step by the other. A RAG is a retriever, usually a vector database. We come back to the point that we mentioned before, that finds the most relevant information from your data using semantic search. That's how a big deal a vector database embedded in our system is. And then you have a generator, which is the LM that's going to read the context and produce whatever you need, but based on your data. This is huge. So Mathieu is going to explore a little bit that for you. He's going to show something for you. So adding a RAG to your 4D systems turns store information into active knowledge that AI can reason with, not just read. Yeah, my yellow lines I usually repeat them. So again, adding a RAG to your 4D system turns stored information into active knowledge that AI can reason with, not just read. Conclusion. For this, the breaking through platform built for the AI era now is ready. AI rocket fuel exciting platform 4D21 is here. 4D developers can be the AI surgeons. They possess the unique knowledge, the team size, the full stack expertise to integrate intelligent systems into surgical precision. It's an opportunity in a lifetime. We're just stepping upon on it. AI is not a disruption to your code. I'm going to repeat that one because I think it's so important. AI is not a disruption to your code, but it's the greatest opportunity for your client. If you see that first presentation that we did, there's no code change. There's actually code enhancement. 4D is focused and geared for AI. Make no mistake. We are 100% looking to that. This is our DNA now. A vector RAG is operational today. Agents are the logical, immediate next step, as they are a natural extension of our RAG foundation. We're not mentioning agents right now. Maybe some people may know what it is, but we need to go step by step. The boat is ready to protect your castle. I think we're building up something here that it can be remarkable. It's a renaissance for me. I have been in 4D for 15 years. You guys, much of the people here, much more than me. And I always heard that the 90s were good. The 2000s were tremendous. We're growing like crazy. I think we have the same chance now. This platform can go beyond just the people that we have right now, but even further. As I mentioned, we are one of the first ones in integrating a vector database inside, embedded to a multi-balanced structure, solid system. It is that powerful. Bravo to our technical team that reacts so quickly and had the vision to do that. And without further ado, I think it needs to be demo time. That's all for me for today. I'm a little different today, so.
I mean, who needs a demo after this?
Impressive slides. Good argument.
Okay,
Well,
maybe.
you are the cerise, the cherry on top of the pie, my friend. So go for it.
Okay, maybe I can start, or I don't know if we take questions right away, or maybe I can start with the demo. Yeah. Let's go. I'm sharing. That's it. Okay. So it will be my intervention today will be a 100% demo. I have no slides, I have no speaker notes, and it's just that I've been working with AI quite a bit the few past months, and I wanted to share some of my experiences. The first thing the thing I want to start with is this little project here that you will see if you attend to tomorrow's webinar. So by the way, we had the French session yesterday. It was really crowded. I think it was really interested, and I could feel how people evolved for the past few months about AI. I mean, when we started talking about AI some months ago, not so long ago, the questions were very candid, but we could see yesterday that the maturity is coming really on the topic. Let's start with this. So this demo, you will have the sources, and if you attend to tomorrow's webinar, I will spend 1 hour explaining in details how it is implemented. So that's not the point today. Today, my point is more to spend a little bit more time playing with it and showing you what can be done with a semantic search and a RAG. And I really would like to have some kind of interactive talk afterwards to get your feedback about this, because AI is going so fast. There are so many things we could do, and really interesting to learn a little bit on where we should go first for the next steps. So, okay, let's start a little bit with this. If you remember, I think it was 7 months ago when I presented you with Damien and Mohamed. We showed you a little bit about VS Code, and we showed you, so it was in March, and we showed you a demonstration about a very, very early version of a RAG with 4D, with a database involving people and skills. So this is exactly the point of this demonstration. But this time it's 100% supported with 4D21 and totally doable right now with a few lines of code. So we show it to you in just a minute. So just to refresh our minds, I have here persons, I have here skills. So each person has a set of skills. We're talking about IT skills, HR skills, finance, so on. A job detail here and a funny billing rate. And here some addresses. So people all around the world. And you see that here I get the now famous, if I can zoom in a little bit, yeah, the embedding field on the person data class, which is of type 4D vectors. Okay, so basically, I won't get into too much details, but there's here an implementation of the semantic search. So just for people not used to this, if I search, for example, a 4D developer here, if it works, it's the demo. Yeah, it's working. Okay. I get here a list of people with those skills. In fact, here I could search, for example, React. I will get also some. Okay. I can find HR specialists and so on. This is semantic search. In fact, I only have one field here, and I can say here in France, and it's searching in the vector, and the score here you get is the similarity level that you have. But all of this is I will show it to you tomorrow in details how I can get that. So it's a really funny way to search into a database, and it's not only funny, but it's a great way to expose your database to an LLM, because an LLM is quite strong in building a small piece of phrase like that. In fact, stronger than detailing a complete order query with a skill in the skill attribute and a country in the country attribute and so on. But what's really funny here is that this demo comes with a RAG. Here I will use OpenAI just to make it quicker, and I will get here this kind of prompt. So this is the same prompt that I will use tomorrow, but I want to get into more details with you. So here what I'm asking is that I need to quickly answer to a call for quote. My client has an upcoming project in finance IT. It's located in Italy. The stack is 4D. I need to build a mobile app, a web app, both relying on the server side for the database. The project will last a couple of months. Can you suggest an adequate team for such project and estimate the cost for 2 full months? And draft me a proposal with 20% margin. So it's working. And as you can see, it's a little bit slow. It should not, maybe it's OpenAI getting a little bit slow. It's the problem with not recorded demos. I don't know what's it doing. Well, what you saw here is that it ran several tools. So it's the tooling part. Yes, it's coming. Oh my God. It's the last minute demos. Usually it's super, super fast. So I don't know if it's my machine or OpenAI, which is a little bit slow today. But basically what happened here is that it has a set of tools here. So listing skills and categories, listing job titles, listing cities and countries. So here it's getting data for contextual search. And here it's using the very same semantic search that I showed you 2 minutes ago. And it's been searching here profiles in my database and getting data out of it and forming a response out of it. Yeah, it's becoming faster here.
Were all those tool files that you're referencing, or those files you presented to the AI, those files above that said tool underscore?
Yeah, tool underscore. I can show you just after how it's declared. But in fact,
it's that file that you send to the AI that defines more detail about what it's analyzing. You're providing these, right, to the AI tool underscore.
I don't provide files. In fact, what I send to the AI is here. I can open it here. I just give the AI this file here. It's a JSON file where I describe the tools I have, the tools I allow it to call. Okay, and I give some context here that this file it's a semantic search and so on. I teach it how to use it. It's a little bit long. I give it examples. If you want to search developers named John Doe with expert skills in Python and Europe, call this tool with this.
So are these 4DMethod names tool underscore?
Yeah. In fact, you get them.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Okay, you get them here. You get them here, exactly here. It's some kind of callback, like Brent said earlier. So here you have this tool. Here, all my tools are here. Those 4 tools here. And so the LLM is, in fact, analyzing my prompt here. And I asked it a lot of things right away and at the same time. And what it's doing here is that it found those people here. It made me a cost estimation here with the 20% margin. Prices are totally fake, of course. And here it drafted a proposal. I could ask it to elaborate a little bit more on the proposal here. And here I get the people here from so I can review if it's still, if they are okay, but they are all located in Italy and they have 40 skills. And here the good thing is that I already have a project manager. And the very, fascinating thing is that if I can continue the discussion here. So I can get, let's say I don't need Isabella Moretti here. I don't need Isabella. Yeah. And it's reacting. So here it does not need to call any new tool. it's just updating the proposal. Okay, and here, for example, remember I asked for a mobile developer. So, okay, apparently there's no pure mobile developer here in the team. So can you find a mobile, a real, let's say a real mobile developer here? If not available in Italy, find him, find her in a nearby country. And so right now it's expanding its context by calling tools here, searching in Italy, France, Switzerland, Austria. And apparently, yeah, here it found that person. Okay, so now I can now please hire add Anaïs to the team and update the quote. And now Anaïs is in the team.
Mathieu, let me ask you a few things here because this is so cool. Well, first, yeah, you see already that the interface changing, right? So which is great. And I love that. But one thing that I want to understand here. So let's say that you had already in your system all those for the calls and methods that you were calling, right? So what you did pretty much is you describe them to define how to use them, right?
Yeah. What I can do just before you asking question and to show you something I do not show in tomorrow's webinar is that together we can add a new tool. So, and because this I don't do it tomorrow, so you are the first to see that. So if I ask here, let's start with a new chat here, and if I ask the AI, how many people are in my database? So there's no tool for that. And okay, I do not have access to the total number of people here. All right.
Very cool. Yeah.
So what we can do is just update this registry, let's call it like that. I'm gonna add a little function here that I will call people count. Yeah. Okay, funny thing is that VS Code is proposing me the description right away. No, why not? Here, yeah, keep that. So this obviously is not enough. I declare the tool and now I have to implement it. Going back to 4D. I can just copy this here in my class. And I will call it the same way, people count. It returns an integer, and it returns ds dot person, sorry, the whole button. Very okay. With that, and now let's go back here. Let's crush this. And do you know how many people are in my database? I'm crossing fingers. Yeah, it's working. 623.
Yeah.
Which is the correct thing. So you
my question.
Yeah.
Okay, then my question is this. Can you explain to everybody on that query that you did before, the one that brought the team, which
Yeah.
even if ChatGPT took 30 seconds to answer, if you were trying to do that in an interface and Gabriel that it will take way more, right? That's no doubt. And that's and OpenAI has been a little bit clogged because of the high traffic. I have seen it quite a bit. Everybody here, if you're using, you have seen that. But my point here is this: what I want people to understand is what level of data you're exposing to OpenAI in that situation.
Here currently, what do I do? What kind of data am I exposing?
Yeah. So are you giving? So my question: are you giving the whole database to OpenAI?
No.
Exactly.
Okay. Of course not. What I'm doing in that tool is that I am just giving it the 20 best matches.
Yeah.
Based on the prompt. So here I'm using. And this is important, in fact, of course, yes. I'm using the semantic search function I wrote. So this, you will see tomorrow how I wrote it. And I'm just giving it the terms that the LLM gives me. And I limit the results to 20. But I could totally, control exactly what data I want to send it. Here I'm giving all of this, in fact, all of this data. This is because I'm doing just a tool collection here and I'm extracting all those attributes, but you are free to share what you want. And if you don't want to share that with OpenAI, you can use a local model. It's working the same, but
yeah, exactly.
But I have to say that OpenAI is so easy to use.
Yeah.
It's so powerful to understand your intent and what you want to obtain compared to a lot of other models I used, at least with the computing power of my machine. It's fascinating. You can ask it really, really a lot of things. And it's a little bit like, if you remember where we were in March and where we are now, it's tremendous. The path we've made since just for the past 8 months.
Yeah, show that to any sales team or anyone that needs to put a proposal. This is like life-changing. This is like many clicks and gathering data before you can even get close to what you got there.
Yeah, because I didn't show, but you can imagine a lot of things. If I put it back here, this same thing, or I could ask something in French here because it will work in French as well. So here, okay, I have a project that soon will start in the US. I prefer New York and Chicago or Chicago. No remote working. People must live in the US. I need a React developer, another in Python. I don't even have to be very precise in my phrasing, I can really, it's almost like I would be dictating it with on my phone. And I need a project manager, project lasts 10 days, find me an ideal deal that would cost less than $30,000 for this project. And as a bonus, only if the project cost could go below $25,000, or if there's nobody in the US, then Python developers and React developers can be searched in India or Asia.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
You imagine the amount of complexity of such a query. And it will work. It will work. And if it does not work perfectly right away, it will. You can continue to iterate. On the thing. And here it is answering me in French.
It's answering French, yeah, because you ask in French.
It's answering in French because in my prompt I asked it to answer in the language is
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is like I could just come and say, add invoice for company ABC, and hey, they're buying the product A and B. Create invoice for me
Yeah,
and
yeah, you
send
could
to
do.
the client,
Yeah, and
right?
yeah, it will work. And here I have a funny thing here. I can copy this and I
Yeah.
can get it right away in Word. Sorry, Control V, and oh, okay, I have it in Word now. And my document is done. Maybe.
Yeah. So then also, sorry, but just to hook up what the future can be, it's like, so when we talk about agents, we're talking about putting in actions after that result is created, right? Or in the process as well. Imagine that if you have something hooked already in an agent that say send a mail and it will do that already for you. You don't need even to touch. Is that correct, Mathieu?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sort of. What here I am just discussing with the OpenAI API, and I declared it. I said to it, okay, you have some tools, and they can bring you data. Do what you have to do with it. The next step could be for us or for you to implement what we call an MCP server, and it would somehow say to the world or say to the surrounding apps or the surrounding LLMs, okay, here I have those those services available that you can use, that can be
Yeah.
used by AI, and then it becomes usable by agents, yeah, for sure. And it means that you can expose it a little bit like an API.
So the tools you've shown so far are pulling data. It's the AI is calling back into 4D, asking the tool, give me some data, and that sends it to the AI, back to the AI.
Yeah,
But the agent is the AI could call back into 4D and say, actually do things, create records in the database,
exactly,
email,
exactly.
send it off.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not there yet, but that's coming.
Oh yeah, that we're not there yet. I mean, it's just a matter of focus we could give to it because the technology, everything already exists. Yeah, here what happens really is that the AI asks 4D to execute a tool, and 4D chooses to execute the tool and gives back some JSON back to the LLM, and it enters the context. The difference with an MCP server, the idea is more or less the same, but the MCP server will in this case, I mean, sorry, the LLM is directly able to really execute the tool. It's not 4D anymore. I mean, it's just executing it and getting the data.
Is it telling an instance of 4D to do this, or
Yeah.
is 4D not involved when it's the tool sending the email?
For these involved all the time, but it's a more direct calling. I mean, there's no, and you're making it available to any AI or any, not any AI.
We'll see some demos of this in the near
Yeah.
future, right?
Yeah. It's one of the paths that we could, where at 4D we could provide more tools to help you implement. We could, there's a lot of agenting, if we can call it that way, at stake in when you are using VS Code and doing some vibe coding. There's a lot of agents here. Yeah, and I mean, several AIs can discuss with each other, get the result from one hand, give them on the other hand, and so on. Yeah.
Is the function, the tools, are they exposed functions in the REST server that OpenAI or no?
No,
Okay.
no, they're not exposed as REST.
Okay.
No. They are just here. They are only available for the LLM where you declare them. In fact, you will see that in tomorrow's meeting how it's done. I don't want to enter too much in the implementation, but
Okay.
otherwise it would be redundant. Well, the point where I'm coming to here is more or less what Ricardo was saying. I mean, it's a really different UI from what you may be used to implement. I mean, if I would have had to build a UI to give the same service, the same feature. I mean, here the idea is I want to build some teams. I want to know who has which skills in countries. The idea of this application is to build some teams. I would have needed to implement maybe a lot of screens with a lot of filters, a lot of list box, a way to select people, a way to calculate a quote, put some margin. I mean, it's a lot of screens. And with this single UI, I can have a lot of features just available through a chat.
Yeah.
Here I can, I mean, the users, they can try whatever they want. Can you list HR specialists living in Tokyo, for example? I don't know.
Yeah, the difference is really the adding language.
Yeah.
Process, right? So because if you're describing, yeah, you could have done the same thing, but it will be specific for that case. You would have to have a very specific language for you to access those things, because if you change a little bit the language, your program, if you code logically one step after the other, may not understand, right? So it's a different level of understanding of your data and system if you add language. That's the beauty, huh? No employees.
You can, for example, here, who are give me some low experienced 4D people and suggests a training plan. It's completely different kind of thing here, but still I can do it with always the same UI. And it's very funny. I'm playing with it a lot. I wanted to share my pleasure to playing with it.
Mathieu,
Yeah.
that's beautiful there, because I think all those trainings that he's proposing is because he's reading from our website. Or did you provide the training as well?
No. I never provided the training. It's what happens here. What happens here is that it listed here. No, man, not even. No. Yeah, it listed only the job titles, not the skills. No, I don't know from where it got. It's OpenAI. So OpenAI probably has already investigated a little bit our website. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, every time with AI, you have to assess or control if what is written here is correct or not.
How is hallucinations going? If you are asking a question that it doesn't have a tool or a way to figure out the answer to, does it tell you, I don't know how to do that, or does it hallucinate like in the past and just give you a BS answer, like you don't know where it came from?
Let's try something. What's the weather today in Morocco? I don't know if I put enough R and C's, but okay. Okay, here, this application only handles questions related to persons, their skills and HR data and so on. So there's a way for you to control it.
Good.
There's a way for you to control it in the prompt. Here, in the prompt, I said the end user sometimes asks irrelevant questions, not related to person skills or not. In this case, answer politely that. Okay. I honestly saw very little hallucinations in this example. In this example,
Right, because it used to hallucinate a lot 6-8 months ago.
Sorry?
It used to hallucinate a lot 6 or 8 months ago when you
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's just GPT 4.1. It's not a very recent model anyway. If you use more recent ones, they are even better, I
Yeah.
guess. I'm sure of it. Maybe a little bit slower. I really like GPT 4.1. It's amazingly efficient compared to the cost and the speed it has.
And also, Mathieu, that's what I kind of said that I think is so important that the client must know. The closer you are, the developer, the smarter and safer your AI integration will be, right? Because that type of complexity that you just add there. So don't ask me the weather. I am a system that is defined. It has constraints and it has limitations, right? Yeah.
This form here, is that a web area or is that a Write Pro or just curious.
I was I was expecting that question.
Mhm.
I don't know. I haven't prepared any answer. It's a web.
Or is it a new form object?
At the very beginning, a few weeks ago, if I had to do this same presentation, you would have seen a very ugly input area with no decoration, with no styling, with no tables. And I wanted to have something better, but as I'm a very busy person, I had no time to do it. I I haven't coded anything, and I haven't used any available component or thing like that on the market. So this is something I made 100%, but this is something I didn't code. I didn't code a single character out of it.
So it's not a web area.
It's a web area.
Okay, that's
It's
all
a
it
web
asked.
area.
Is it a web area or not?
It's a web area here. I can show you where is it. It's here.
That's it. That makes
It's
sense.
a
It
web
makes
area.
sense now. It's a web area.
It's a web area, but I relied completely on AI to build it. In fact, to build the HTML inside.
That's the catch. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good at doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't have any more the history of the discussion I had, but with it. But it just started with, okay, I have this data from AI Kit, from the chat helper of AI Kit. You will see tomorrow. We have access to the whole history of messages that you exchange with the LLM. So I just gave it, okay, I have this structure, this object. Please make me an HTML JavaScript thing that I can put in my web area to be updated real time. And it started like that. And maybe in a morning, maybe in half a day, I had a lot of exchanges. I mean, it was not working right away, but because I wanted specific things, the little copy button here, I wanted the tables, things like that, but it was working, and in no way I would have had time to do it from scratch myself.
Yeah.
100% sure.
I just saw a question passing by as well. So in the example that you show where you related all the people, right? The 20 people that you're sharing. So the only data that you're sharing are those 20 people with OpenAI.
Yeah.
Having said that, it is totally possible for you to create, I'm just imagining here, a script or a method that masks some of your data, send it to AI, it's going to perform in the same way, right? Or maybe not, I don't know. And then when you come back, you demask the thing and show. Let's say that you have sensitive information, like say, I don't know, some sensitive information you don't want.
Of course, the AI just gets the data you accept to share with it.
Yeah.
So you just, and the good thing is that if you go back here, it's quite easy to write such tools because the AI is not too demanding in terms of return type here. So here it's an object, here it's a collection, here it's an integer. It doesn't care. I mean, in the tool definition, I don't know if you noticed here, but we never describe the return type.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
So you can even, depending on the case, you can return an error message or the solution. It doesn't care. It will read it as text. It doesn't care. And so you can, depending on the context, you can maybe implement different versions of this tool here that would return only the required field for the proper question, for example. A lot of things. And if you have sensitive data here, you just don't extract them and you don't share them.
Yeah.
There's no problem.
Yeah. You can even think about something that you give just the an ID, right? As well, in some cases, right?
Yeah, you could give just the ID, but you would need also to create the tool to get some information, because if
the
you
information back.
If you just give IDs, it will answer you with IDs.
Yeah,
which is not really interesting.
Yeah, I'm just saying in a case where you were very paranoid with some specific data that you want to share it all, you can ask that.
No, it could. I mean, here I could just share IDs, so it would solicitate, it will run my tool, my semantic search tool. I would just return IDs and just to display them here.
Yeah.
But the question here, maybe it's not a chat in that case, because the content of the discussion would not be very interested, but maybe it could be part of a mixed UI, mixing LLM, other more conventional other features and so on. Maybe why not?
Yeah. Sorry to monopolize, but in the thing that you did in the bottom, that you have the provider, the module. So
where is
on the bottom when you have the provider OpenAI module?
Here. So here it's just because I'm playing with a lot of inference servers, so we can do the same locally. I can, just for the fun of it, can use this one. The quality is not exactly the same, but I can ask it here. Who is HR in France? And so here it will run locally. It's a little bit tomorrow's demo.
Yeah.
Well, not quite, but here you can open here. I can, sorry. You can clear the logs and you will see it working. So here it's loading the model, the Quint 3 model, and everything happens locally here. There's nothing going in the cloud.
Yeah. Is it doing through a Llama?
No, this is LM Studio. So it's not on.
Oh, the LM Studio. Yeah.
Yeah. But I prefer LM Studio. I prefer LM Studio to Llama. It gives more details, more logs. It's funny. It's funnier. There's more models.
So you will load the first time, but then after will be a little bit better, right?
Yeah. The first loading is a little bit. No, here it won't. It's the same trap. No. It's okay. It will be working. It's a little bit slow because I need my boss to renew my computer.
That's the plug. But listen,
this is recorded.
That opens.
This is recorded. Yeah.
But that opens quite a bit of possibilities for the developer, in the sense that you can maybe, if the data is so sensitive to the client, and you don't need the full capabilities of OpenAI, and a local model will be a lot, giving you a lot of benefits. You can maybe, depending on the size of your client, convince him to put a little server there that will be a little bit more expensive, but will give a lot of benefit in terms of AI response time, right?
Yeah.
And security, in terms of having it on site and on premise instead of sending it out to the big wide
100%.
web.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. But I think if you want really good response times, I mean, you have to invest. And honestly, for the moment, OpenAI is really powerful. I really, really like playing with it. It's probably in a few months, local models will be on par, but for the moment, I think it's one of the best I use.
So for maximum security, you sacrifice speed. You do
Yeah.
go local. So
Yep.
so if the client says, "Well, security is a top priority. We can't get anything going out on the web," you say,
Yeah.
"We can do it, but you're gonna have to wait 3 minutes as opposed to 3 seconds if we go out."
Yeah, perhaps it's a bargain. Yeah.
Could I jump in on something just to make sure I understand what you're presenting and maybe it'll help some other folks too. So this window that we're looking at here essentially is running in a process, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so in that process, then you're you're allowing the user to make an input. When that happens, when we click the little magic button down here, you're using AI Kit to take this information, bundle that using AI Kit, make a call to OpenAI with the information it gets it, and then that starts populating this.
Yeah.
And when we see those little indicators that a tool is being called, what's happening with that is that OpenAI is sending some information back to your code running in this process.
Yeah.
You're reading that and you're saying, "Oh, it wants me now to run this tool."
Exactly.
And so you're making a call to your class that has that tool in it. You're giving it your data, and all that's happening on your computer. And then you're just taking the result of that class function, putting that into another AI Kit call, and then that's what goes back to OpenAI for more processing. So, okay, so because I think when you first start looking at these, you start talking about these tools, and I'm not criticizing you at all, but it's like you hear people talking about, oh, well, it's this tool. The exact context of where that tool is running is not always apparent. In this case, though, it's the tool is just something is 4D code that's running on your 4D instance on your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's even a little bit more simple than that because really AI Kit is dealing automatically with executing the tool, getting the results, and giving them back to the LLM.
You didn't write any code to tell it to execute this tool.
No.
AI is deciding I need to use this tool.
Yeah.
It's the one that decides which tool it thinks it needs to use.
The AI decides which tool it needs to use.
The 4D's AI kit is doing that for you. It's helping make those decisions with the AI.
No, AI Kit does not help making decision. AI Kit is just handling the back and forth things.
Communication.
Yeah, the communication.
All right.
Exactly. But AI Kit is not intervening in the LLM is doing the creative part, let's say, and for the heavy stuff about retrieving data, or here I'm retrieving data, but as Ricardo said, it could be create an invoice or create a person or drop something,
So the reason that your result here isn't as pretty as the previous one is because you're using your local model and it's not as powerful to format and make it look nice.
In fact, this is what I meant when I said that OpenAI is easy to use because with few words, it gets what you want it to do. Here, I managed to do it earlier in the afternoon, but now it's not working anymore. But you have to deploy much more terms to make it understand that it should output HTML to that. It's just it's not as easy to get exactly what you want from it. From my experience, maybe I'm doing things wrong. I don't know, but It's possible. It can output, this model can output HTML. I made it so. But if I ask it here, can you output
Yeah.
your answer in HTML? It will do so. It's capable of doing it.
Yeah. And also you could have, if you know that you're using that module all the time, you could have put that in the beginning of all your calls, right? So it would be always like
Yeah. In fact, here it's a little bit complicated because I'm switching between models. I like
Yeah.
switching to compare them and choose the best one for the demo and so on. But in real life, you will play with, I don't know, a couple, three, four, and you will select one, the best you can find.
Yeah.
And you will tailor your prompts to the model. Yeah.
Yeah, also here my call for you guys in terms of working with a local model as well is the fact that you may have some you will have advantage with OpenAI and the prompt side. So as complex as your prompt, probably OpenAI can dissect that maybe a little better. But the detail is, I bet if you run a simple request through both, the answer is going to be the same in terms of personnel it will find.
Yeah.
Because they are using your data and they are limited to the request that you are allowing them to do, correct, Mathieu?
Yeah, not quite. In fact,
Oh, interesting. Really?
Depends. In fact, here it's a very simple question. It's who is HR in France? So the power of the LLM here is how it will also call your tool with what, if you use a semantic search, if it does it wrong, you may have different results here. So yeah, if you deliver the same data to it, yes, the answer will have the same meaning and you will have the same people in here. But
So are they use the same method to get to that answer?
sorry, the same?
The same code internally to get to the answer?
Yeah. It's exactly the same code in for the exactly the same. It's
exactly.
just
So
the
how
only
would
thing that
how would the answer will be different? I mean, the answer may be composed, but the results, not the answer, the results.
no. If it is called with the same terms,
Yeah,
it will deliver the same data and the answer
exactly.
will be very similar. But it's remember that it's the AI who is calling me with this parameter here.
Yeah.
So if the AI does not put here exactly the same thing between from a model to another, it will get different results.
Perfect.
There is a question in the chat. At the end of the conversation, could the quote be transformed or create a 4D quote record? So it's effectively writing the information back to 4D. I would imagine you just need another tool for that, or
Yeah. You can imagine a lot of things. You can you could make it answer in a formalized JSON, and then take this JSON. Hey, this is what I do here. Here, what I do, and here, if I generate one person here, I'm just asking AI to give me a JSON. Oh, it's not working. Why is it? Ah, it's this one. Okay, no problem. Here, let's start again. It's this one. So here, one person. So here it just gives me, formatted output in JSON, and then I create directly the person in database. It's created. So you could imagine here, I lost the context, but that the quote to be delivered in HTML, but also at the same time in a proper JSON, and you get it back, and you do what you want with it.
Yeah, you create the record. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Cool.
And you could also ask AI, the LLM, to suggest you what would be the adequate next step in your workflow. So it would be send the proposal or record it or print it, and could be a suggestion or could be a little bit more automatized. You can go that way. Yeah.
Follow-up question. How can or do you correlate the 4D data versus the LLM or OpenAI data. So how do you differentiate between what's coming directly from OpenAI, say from the web, or from your data your database?
I don't know. Maybe by prompting. I'm not even sure that things are coming. When I said earlier that maybe things were coming from the web, it's not exact. I mean, here, when I execute the tool here, I don't think the model is doing an actual search on the web at the moment I'm using it. I mean, it's just part of its training, of its past training that yes, it got things from the web at that moment because this is how it is trained. So yeah, some models are able to run searches on the web when you can activate things like that.
Grok will let you do that. You can ask it, when it gives you an answer back, you can say, ask it to search, the web, and it'll update it with things that happened a few hours ago.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Be.
But
If you have it,
but in
you could build a tool doing that also, for example, a tool searching things on the web, or I don't know. Yeah.
but in the context of what you're doing here, it looks like the talking about the data that the tools are using,
Yeah.
or the answers that you're getting as a response to using a tool to get data. That what's happening is the tool is getting the data out of your 4D database. It's putting it into the using AI Kit to send that call to OpenAI. So it's basically saying to OpenAI, here's the data to look at, and now tell me this.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just your data.
Yeah, normally it's just your data. I mean, if you really want to be sure, maybe by prompting it to just use your data, everything I mean is in the prompt and a few parameters that you can tune as well.
Okay, so I got two questions. One, what kind of hardware are you using on your desktop right now?
It's a it's a MacBook Pro M1 Pro
Okay.
with 16 gigabyte of RAM.
All right, so it's certainly doable on most of our desktops. The second question is, I asked the question about the differentiation of data,
Okay.
but here's what I'm thinking of. I know that I can use an LLM to be trained on, say, the equipment that goes into a typical home studio in terms of audio gear and things of that nature. But at the same time, I have a ton of 4D data that says you as a customer, this is what you purchased from me already. Can I blend the OpenAI data or the LLM data with what they purchased and say, get the difference between the two so I can recommend what's next for them better? Is that the normal course of things, or would I have to do something super special to make that happen?
No, I think it's totally doable. I don't know exactly how right now, but the brief you give is
I have an idea.
Great, Greg.
reasonable. Yeah, it's a right. Yeah.
I mean, given the problems that you just outlined, I would make a call. I would get all the data that all the items that I know that my customer has, and I'd put that into a prompt saying, my client currently has a home studio or a studio with this data, and they've got the array of stuff. What do you suggest would help them given their current state with bringing, with getting current, or what are they missing, or how could I improve their? Ooh, that would be better. How could I improve their studio setup, or what could I recommend that would improve their studio setup? That would be. And for that, frankly, I mean, all you're doing is sending a list of widgets. You're not even saying, hey, Joe Blow has this studio with these things in it, and he lives at 123 Main Street.
Right.
It's just like, hey, here's a list of studio widgets, and this is what, this guy's interested in classical music, or this guy's interested in bluegrass. What would be a good recommendation that I can make to improve his studio?
But then you need
And
a tool that would say, here's all the stuff we offer. Here's all the Sweetwater things we offer. The things you recommended, show me the ones that we actually offer. So you could say, here at Sweetwater, you need this and this and this. Why don't we sell you?
Sweetwater offers everything, so they
They don't have to.
they can do
Whatever it says,
that
they got
query.
it. Okay, that makes it easy.
They
Well-
can do that query on their side.
Well, I'm listening to the scenario or the architecture of this. So gather my data and use it as a part of the prompt against the AI tool to get this informed answer. And so whether I'm asking about home studios or home audio or road shows, whatever the topic might be, the LLM is trained on those models, has those positions in place, has those models in place. I simply need to use my data as a part of the prompt to get a useful result from that.
Yeah. And James, the decision here also is, how do you want to get your data? Do you want just to prompt it? And if you're doing that, you just do the RAG system that we're just exposing here. So you can ask anything in a prompt like that and preemptively get your database with all the answers that fit that case scenario. Then you pass that to the LLM and get the result.
Well, the challenge there is, in terms of the richness of the data I have available, I have every invoice and line item that you have bought in the last 30 years. That's too much for a prompt. For a human
it's not.
type as a prompt.
It's too much for a prompt, but it's not too much for a search.
That's true. That's true.
That's why the search in the vector database for that will give you the split of the data that you could pass to the RAG and then pass to the thing. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And that's exactly what I was looking for, is the utility of AI and what the conversation has to be against the data. And so, I need to pay some attention to the richness of the models that are available, presumably inside of OpenAI or LLMs or however that's built, but more so how to collect the information I want to use to go against that, whether it be through a search or through human, typing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The embedding of that's why in my side, I pointed out how important is this embedded data. We have a database that is vectorized. That is huge. You can transform anything that is your data into a vector, and that is speed. This translates as much more speed and possibilities for you to use the LLM after, right? That's the key element there that we cannot miss. That's why this thing implemented by the team is so crucial and so important. Anyhow, so yeah, but you're in the right path.
Excellent. Thank you for the answers.
But so to do this, we're going to have to implement an object vector field in various places in the database to be able to do these vector searches. We're going to have to build those. Add object fields that are 4D vector class based, and then have code that will populate those somehow. Then this will all work.
And that's why you're so important, Tim. That's why the developer is key on the process. That's why the AI, generic AI, is bullshit compared to what you can do it.
When are you going to do a session on how to build these 4D vector object fields?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
It's tomorrow's session. Yeah. And if you want more, we'll do more.
Ricardo, do we have to pay you for a 30-minute session?
No, it's free. It's more for us to actually right now. It's more for us to gather ideas. We don't have solutions other than the ones that are representing you guys in the evolution. That's why this conversation is so important.
I just popped one of the 4D blog articles where they describe the different comparison methods that they have, where you can compare vector similarities, because there's different options. And they do a nice job of describing each one. And yeah, they're all high level math, but they're immediately available within AI Kit. And I'm assuming that you'd be able to pass in one of these comparison methods when you're searching on vector fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And Mathieu, let me just ask you if you are planning to show
Something else.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have time. I didn't think we would spend so much time on the first part, but I think it was necessary.
Yeah.
That's
maybe a snippet of what tomorrow.
Yeah, I wanted also to share a little bit, maybe for people who haven't tried it already. You remember in March we showed a little bit how VS Code could help generating code or translating stuff with 4D, and it's amazing the how it has evolved in just a few months. Or maybe some of you saw the video that Thomas Mo shared on the forum, but I just wanted to give you a taste of what it feels like to vibe code with 4D. But this is here the kind of a chat session that you can have here. So here I'm on VS Code now, and I loaded my project, the same one here. And let's try to build a new screen together. So a 4D form, I mean. So let's say that I want a 4D form that lists all people in my database with relevant attributes, let's say. Let's just say it that way and let it finish. Yeah, let's use this one. I want to know I want to know for each person what is his or her best skill, and I want a button to export the data plus a filter with a semantic search. Of course, the form should be really nice. You see, why not? I mean, why not? I don't know what it will give me, but every time I prompted it, something like that, it came with a nice surprise. So I don't know. Maybe it will work. Maybe it won't work. I don't know.
I'd like to ask you to make a form as ugly as hell and see what it gives you.
Yeah. It would be.
You could just say, use my existing forms as a template and create a new one.
Yeah, it does it anyway. I could point a specific form that I want to mimic. I could give it a screenshot of a form I found on the internet to mimic it. I could, I don't know, so give it a form of another project I have. I don't know. It's yeah, please.
I'm sorry. I was just going to horn in and say that on Friday at Happy Hour, I'm going to be showing how I used exactly this process to build a small, fairly complex 4D project, and the results were amazing for me. And I'll just kind of walk through that and show some of the ways that I was able to create these prompts and get 4D to do actually good work and good coding.
Yeah. So just to, well, if you're doing so at the happy hour, I won't steal you all your thing, but it's
steal it.
Really, 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 if you haven't played with it yet, you should. It's amazing as an experience. I mean,
So, Mathieu, your boss is not here, so you can tell us the truth. So when you ask something like that, you just go for a coffee.
yeah, here I usually, or I go to a coffee, or I can attend a meeting. I mean, maybe it's not the best thing that I could have coded myself,
Yeah.
but I'm not coding it. So I can
Well,
do
that's
something
what you
else.
said that you did with
Yeah.
the example that you showed. Was pretty much based on that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And here I can, while it is working, so here I can see the files it is generating. So it's generating me the 4D form, the class as well here. And here it's progressing in its to-do list. And we can maybe already check it out. It's preparing the buttons and so on. It's finishing. So export. Oh, it shows an export in JSON and in CSV. Why not? I mean, why not? I was not specific. So no. And okay, 7 files completed, and test the form. I know. Okay, let's go. Okay, it's finished. So it's now here. So it built me the form method here.
Don't forget to click the keep button.
The
Back on VS Code.
Yeah. You don't need to. You don't need to. It's in there.
Well, you know what I've learned though, and VS Code confirmed it with me, is that I found that I was sometimes just losing code that had been generating.
Yeah.
And and I had a discussion about it, and it said, well, yeah, if you start, like if you flip over to 4D and you start doing something, especially on a file that it is actively modifying, it's going to think it modified it, but 4D blocked it because it saw you on it.
Yeah.
So
Wow, that's pretty cool.
so if you don't click the keep, then it may not get written.
Yes.
Wow, but the result is pretty cool. My goodness.
I don't know if it's working totally, but I mean, I could never have written that at all. Does it work here for the developer? I don't know. I'm not sure.
And look, the best skill.
Well, you couldn't have written it. You couldn't have written it sitting here having a discussion with us knuckleheads and then have it be done that quick and work the first time.
And that's it. Here you can just then, for example, take a screenshot here and say, put it back here and say, I have an error. Please fix it. And I just pasted it, the image. I can see the error.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
This is the internet back and forth process. It builds something, you go to test it, and you say, well, it's broke, it don't work. And then you come back and say, this don't work, fix it. And then it'll modify it, and you go back and test that. Yeah, that works. I can't see the text. It's too light gray. And
exactly.
And it'll say, and then it'll go back and it will adjust the colors and CSS to fix the problem you tell it you have.
Yeah, but let me show you something. Here, I will let it finish. But here you have in VS Code what they call MCP servers here, that we just discussed about. So I've not enabled them yet, but we could perfectly imagine in the near future to have an MCP server for development that would ease drastically all this process, because this agent here, because this is an agent, saw it here, it's an agent, it could automatically run the form, take a screenshot, put it back in its context, and fix itself the errors. Because here I didn't tell it what was the error. I just said there's an error. So we could automatize a lot of things here. We could have this MCP server to learn to better create or update the structure, for example.
The image that you pasted in about the error, what was that image that you pasted? Just that screenshot up at the top?
just a screenshot. It's this image. You can find it back here. It's this one. Yeah.
But there's no error number on there.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
there it is. Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah,
see
yeah.
it now.
There is here.
All right. Okay, I understand.
Yeah. So okay, it fixed something. I don't know. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's not. I don't know. We can try it again here. Oh, the error is still here. So bad example. Bad example. But I mean, okay, I could spend some time. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, and fortunately, I mean, what is really great is that when if I start again a new conversation here, oh no, it's not finished here. Oh no, I keep okay. If I start again a new conversation, it will lose its context, let's say, but it will always use what we described a little bit 8 months ago, if you remember, these instructions here. So here it has instructions about how to build a form, how to code properly, and so on. But what's really great is that when you see the AI doing often the same error, you can tell it, okay, fix this, it will fix it. And now you say, now update your instructions to avoid doing the same error over and over again. And it will write the instruction, what it learned, in fact. And here it's a little bit like your training for it.
And 4D will be providing these like 4D.errors.instructions, 4D.forms.instructions. You guys are going to be providing that, so we don't have to use our brains to write this big monster.
I mean, all these files I've built them with the AI. But yeah, we are thinking of providing serious stuff on
Don't
there.
think about it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Okay. We don't need to use our brains to do all this stuff that you've already done and it's working. We want to leverage your work.
Yeah.
Tim, you touch a point that we are discussing a lot, and the phrase for the community to understand what we are looking for is this: we want you folks to feel like this. Okay, vibe coding or do something with OpenAI or whatever is the model is good, but doing with the model provided by 4D is much better.
Yeah.
All right. That's the phrase.
Yeah.
That's the phrase. I don't know if we're gonna get there. There's some discussions, but we're gonna get there for sure. We know.
We could provide generic instructions here, but I think it will not save you from doing yours a little bit, because it can learn from your development patterns that are different from your neighbors.
Okay.
It can learn from your way of coding.
Yeah.
If you're using more classic than order, for example, if you don't want to use a specific set of commands and so on.
But as a starting point, we start with a starting set, and then we augment it. We keep adding to it. Okay, tweak it to our style.
But you can do that in VS Code like right now.
You can do that.
And like Mathieu was saying, it'll create that based on what it sees in the project that you have open. So and frankly, these things are changing so quick. I mean, like a few months ago when you did that first thing, we were all excited about these prompt template documents that were incredibly helpful at the time. But frankly, I haven't even bothered with one of those in the last month or so because it's different. It's just different now. It's working differently. And so those things are not as important. This is an
it's 4D language.
Incredibly fluid.
Like I've asked it to write some 4D code, and it brings me back a class, and the code it wrote specified $ this dot whatever, because it didn't know that you just need this, not the $ this. And so I told it that's wrong. You don't use $ in front of this, and it said okay, and it fixed it. But if you had one of these files, these instruction files, wouldn't you be able to prevent that from, it would learn, you could tell it those things like the syntax in 4D. And that's what I want 4D provide, is this detailed syntax.
Tim, that right there.
Yeah. Look
open.
At
Yeah.
can
Oh,
just
open.
if
Eric,
you open
go
a
ahead.
new project without any instruction, I don't know if I have it. I can probably have
Okay,
some.
maybe it's smart enough. You just open it up and it just analyzes the 4D code and it knows how it all works. But I found it didn't always, there's some small things that it missed.
I can probably, I don't have any meaningful example, but here, if you open a totally new a project of yours, you can just here generate agent instruction. So it will analyze your project. It will identify your coding style, the way you declare variables and so on, and it will be put in such instruction. So it will not be ours, but I mean, it will be pretty efficient. Trust me, it will be really, really efficient. Perhaps we could give one, but I'm not even sure. Maybe I think we will work on it.
I'll assume that the AI knows 100% the syntax that 4D uses in the 4D programming language. It knows that, however it knows it, and just by looking through your code, it automatically knows all the 4D syntax for all the commands and functions. That's what it's missing, knowing all of that syntax.
Yeah, what this is going to do is look at the code in this project.
Yeah, I know that.
And then, but that, to say I want it to know everything is, I think, still a little outside the scope of what's going to give you. Yeah, but I think that's.
I'm asking too much of AI to know everything.
Well, I think as Ricardo was pointing out, this isn't about replacing you as the developer. It still requires you to be involved.
Yeah. Of course, I want to be involved, but I just don't want to have to fix stupid bugs that it's intact.
Okay, well, the stupid bugs are easy, but where you need to be involved is making the high level decisions and quality checking things and looking at particular ways that it may start trying to solve a problem and going, no, not like that. That it doesn't have to be that complicated. Look, here's what I want. And and you give it an example. And the more useful the examples, or the more on point the examples that you can provide, then the more it'll start replicating, that line of thinking, or that template of solving something.
You ask AI for some example JavaScript code or some Python code, and it gives you back 99.9% perfect syntax works code. You do that same thing with 4D. Say, give me some 4D code that does this. It ain't that high a level.
Come to 4D Happy Hour on Friday, and I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you a project that where the AI wrote literally at least 80% of the code.
See, with the JavaScript thing, it would have been up in the high 90s. That's what I'm looking for. I want the parity with Python and JavaScript in AI with 4D.
It wrote 100% of the JavaScript code.
Yeah.
But consider how much.
Tim, get them. We'll get, even if it's not 100, it will get there. It's a process, right? It's a process. It's a process. And in fact, it's a little bit because most of the knowledge in 4D is behind a username and password, login to the knowledge base, to the partners, to a bunch of things, right? What we have available in the web, because all the LLM training is because it is pulling, training, being trained by all the content that we have in the web, right? All the public content that we have in the web. So in some ways as well, this protects us a little bit, It's not just that, in some ways, but our goal is to keep moving that to the public domain and create ways for not only the LLMs, but then the agentic side, and then things that we are going to be providing to be that good as well. Make no mistake.
Fantastic.
But honestly, I've been written with it a lot of 4D code, a lot, and it was not making so many mistakes. I mean, maybe
See,
even less than me.
you couldn't
Yeah.
say it wasn't making any errors. It's still making errors. I just want that error rate to
Honestly,
come down.
honestly,
JavaScript and,
I can
Python still does mistakes, huh? I code
yeah,
with them and it still
yeah.
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I don't know.
If you
I don't
do-
know if it's parity because I don't do enough JavaScript or things like that on a daily basis and not with AI. But it was able to write so many lines of code without a single error, because it's not only a matter of parsing GitHub repositories and so on. It's also using all the work we did with ELSP. And so it is analyzing the errors that are retrieved by VS Code. It's feeding with that. So when it does a syntax error, it knows it and it fixes it right away.
Yeah.
Because it is fed by the syntax checker we have in VS Code.
Yeah. And also you have to contextualize. It is those errors also coming from a brand new project that you're building with the best in code in mind, or is getting your legacy code and also adapting to the top of that, and then creating something that is kind of there already in some levels, right? So there's many levels to that. But we get your point, and it is, I mean, it is the direction that we're coming.
And I found it generates better code when you tell it, I'm using 40 version V19, R2, because sometimes it'll use commands that aren't in the version you're using, but when you ask it, then it'll redo it and it'll come out right, which I like. So now I always say in 40 V20.5, I need code that does this, so it doesn't grab stuff from versions that I'm not using.
Oh, cool. Folks, I have a hard stop. I don't know about you, Mathieu, but
I think
we're getting to the end.
Yeah, it's getting late anyways there, right?
Yeah.
But this obviously made some good conversation, and I think it's just going to continue. So thanks so much for such a great long demo, and I think we all have a lot to discuss and something to see tomorrow and something to see on Friday, and we can all take this home and see what we can do with the new capabilities. So really appreciate your making yourself available. I know this is a busy week for you.
Yeah. I hope it was
Very
as
interesting.
interesting for you than it was for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's all moving so quickly, and that's why I appreciate 4D jumping in there and helping to make it to help integrate our projects with it without our having to bend over backwards to make it happen ourselves. So all right, well, appreciate it. If anyone has any other questions or comments, we do have a dedicated post on discuss.4D, or also you can drop a comment on the user group website, or just obviously reach out to Ricardo and Mathieu. Again, thanks to 4D for all of your support of the user group and the community. This is great. I mean, this is so useful for helping us jump in feet first with these sort of technologies, and really look forward to seeing what's next with 4D21. Thanks everybody for staying in such a long meeting, almost 2.5 hours. My goodness. But really great stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you all next time.
And see you
thanks again.
tomorrow.
All
See you
right.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.